The tank that you see here has a fascinating but tragic backstory and how it became a memorial on Juno Beach. This tank is an AVRE, or Armoured Vehicle Royal Engineers. It's a Churchill that's been adapted to be used in an engineering role. This particular AVRE was known as 1 Charlie. It landed on Mike Red's sector of Juno Beach at Grey-sur-Mer on D-Day, roughly around 0900 hours. 1 Charlie became stuck in a 65-foot crater at exit M2, as can be seen on this map, just west of the Souls River. It landed with C Troop, 26th Assault Squadron, 5th Assault Regiment, Royal Engineers. One Charlie had a crew of 6. Lance Sergeant Cecil Robert Ashton, Sappers Roy Manley, and A.C. Batson, and an unknown co-driver were killed just off the beach on D-Day, while the 2 surviving members were badly wounded. These were Lance Corporal Bill Hawkins and driver Bill Dunn. This is just outside the M2 exit on Juno Beach. 1 Charlie wasn't always in this location as a memorial. Instead, it was below the surface of this road you can see up until 1976, when it was recovered, restored, and placed in its current location as a memorial to all those who died on this sector of Juno Beach. In 1993, Bill Dunn gave an account of what happened as 1 Charlie came off the beach at Juno. I originally was going to use sound bites from the interview, but I found out that's not possible, so unfortunately, instead of hearing directly from him, I'll read from the interview, and then I'll link the original so you can listen to it afterwards. Dunn was speaking about what it was like coming off the beach, how his vision was restricted because of the design of the tank, and what they were doing as they tried to get off the beach just beyond these dunes. He told the interviewer that he couldn't see the culvert at all, but in my mind, that's where we should be. So I said to our sergeant, to my tanker man, I said, "Jim, that's Ashton, can't see the culvert." So he radioed back to Captain Hewitt, who was on the beach. The orders we got, carry on. And I knew the culvert should be there. So I put the tank in first gear, and as soon as it would start to move, it went straight down. Of course, the Germans had flooded the area, and you couldn't see the culvert. Dunn continued on. Track snapped, and water started coming in the turret. And of course, for me being right at the front, I was the last one out. Lad, everybody had to get out a bit sharp. It's because the bullets were flying all over the place. And I was the last man out, and I started to swallow water, actually because it was coming into the turret. I was the last one out, and as my tank co-driver got out, he put his knees in both sides of my head, the temple of me. My temple. As he came out, he dragged me with him. Dunn goes on to describe how Bill Hawkins helped him get out of the tank, and basically hit him in the stomach to make all the water come out. At this point, they're still under fire from machine gun bullets, so they decide to move back from whence they came and go over the other side of the dunes. It's at this point Dunn describes how he became wounded. He just laid down behind the sand dunes. Jim Ashton started to sing "Kiss Me Again," because like a father figure, I mean, he's a good lad, and he always did this, tried to settle us all down. I was the youngest one in the tank crew, but he always did something like this. He'd always sing or something, just trying to settle you. And he just started to sing when the mortar bombs came and dropped between us. Actually, it killed 4 outright. It killed 3 outright, definitely. I was wounded. Bill Hawkins was badly wounded. The co-driver, he rolled over to me, and he had a hole in his back, and I put my fist in. And he said, "I'll call for help." And he crawled away. And I was told afterwards, I just saw him roll over after he got about 100 yards from us. And I was told that's where he died. Dunn could not remember the co-driver's name. He had spoken with Bill Hawkins many times about this, but he couldn't remember his name either. As the mortars fell around him, Dunn recalled how he got out of there. But I rolled down into a minefield. In fact, when I looked up, there was a big board, Octone Minin, straight above me head. I thought, "Cor blimey." So I managed to get on me feet, and I ran about 50 yards, which the doctors said it was impossible when I got home, because I had 5 compound fractures in one of me legs. I said, well, when you're frightened and there's bullets flying around, it makes you do queer things. So just a quick addition to the 1 Charlie story here. I'm just walking along here, as I pointed out earlier, it's really flooded a little bit when the tide was a little higher. I was just walking through here, right, as close as I could see. And I walked through the sea foam here, and there's bigger holes you can't really tell if you're not paying attention. Especially right here, right up against the memorial. Right here against the memorial, you can tell, right? But if you're not looking, you can zip right in it. So the point is that in a Churchill, with limited vision, right, you're going to miss that hole. I'm already looking forward to the comments of saying that was stupid, how did they not see that hole, that kind of thing. So this stuff really obscures your vision. Tony Younger, who was the commander of the 26th Assault Squadron, wrote in his book, Blowing Our Bridges, a memoir from Dunkirk to Korea via Normandy, about what happened with 1 Charlie after it fell into the 65-foot crater. We ordered up another AVRE to push 1 Charlie deep into the crater and then launched an assault bridge so that the far end rested on its turret, which was just showing above the water level. 1 Charlie's fascine. A fascine is a collection of sticks or pipes used to fill holes so things can cross over, was then cut loose and dropped beyond the bridge. And another fascine was dropped beyond that. Driving with the greatest care, an AVRE succeeded in getting over this makeshift crossing. As many men as possible from 26 then went over to the far side to collect rubble from a demolished house nearby to improve the crossing. Eventually, a Bailey bridge was put over the area that 1 Charlie fell into, which was then replaced again by another bridge after the war. As a result of the mortar attack, Dunn lost his left arm below the elbow, and his right arm was paralyzed for a while. He also took shrapnel to his spine and his legs, which required extensive surgeries to repair. During his Imperial War Museum interview, he said he never felt he recovered from his wounds. Hawkins lost his right leg and took shrapnel in the face, which again also required many surgeries to fix. 1 Charlie was dug up in November 1976 with the help of the British Army's 26th Armoured Engineer Squadron, with Bill Dunn and Bill Hawkins in attendance. Younger was also there and commented, "It was a particular delight to see the only 2 survivors of the original crew there, Bill Hawkins and Bill Dunn. Both had been badly wounded, but they had survived, and their cheerfulness, in spite of all their artificial limbs, was a tonic to us all." 1 Charlie was unveiled as a monument in 1977 to commemorate those who died in that section of Juno Beach. Bill Hawkins died in March 2000. Bill Dunn died in October 2014. In accordance with his last wishes, Dunn's ashes were spread at the site of 1 Charlie.